What does justice mean to me? To me, justice means no one's afraid anymore. And no one's afraid of each other. And especially, no one's afraid to ask for help. And no one's afraid of that because no one's afraid of the people that are supposed to be protecting and serving us. I think especially in the past couple of years, there's been a microscopic look at how our justice system works in a way that we've never been able to see before. Thanks to television and newspapers and social media, we've gotten to see a lot of things that maybe we weren't aware of before. A lot of flaws and a lot of inconsistencies. But now, this is our time to fix those things. And we need to start from the bottom up by looking at the root of the problem. Because justice isn't served the way that we saw it on Andy Griffith, and we don't always have people guiding us through the law process like Atticus Finch. What do I think needs to be changed in our society to make it more just? Well, I think justice is a trickle-down system. And so, how can the people at the bottom, how are the everyday men and women supposed to carry the heavy hearts of justice if the people that we look to for guidance at the top, if they don't even hold it close to their hearts? If we look at elected officials today, if we look at lawmakers, if they're not practicing the same moral and ethical codes, how are we? And we look at things like WikiLeaks that have given us great insights because they've opened up the Venetian blinds. And we've gotten to see things that happen in the military, things in Capitol Hill that we wouldn't have known of otherwise. And we see a lot of things that we don't like. And so that makes us want to reevaluate the whole system, starting from the ballot booths. When the minute we walk in, because it's also shown us things like, how can our lawmakers follow through with actions that aren't even theirs? Because there's always been this separation of church and state, but where is the separation between the state and the corporation? We elected for officials. We didn't elect for our laws to be passed by CEOs and Fortune 500 companies. But when organizations like ALEC exist and we can't even trust where our laws come from, how can we trust the system as a whole? And as we follow that trickle down, those ideals go straight into the people that have to deal with the everyday man and woman, the lawyers and the police. And when we look at those, how can we focus on doing the right thing if we don't see it happening in front of us? People shouldn't be afraid of the police. Little black boys and girls, little Latina boys and girls shouldn't be raised with an idea to be afraid of the police, to be afraid of the law, because we don't know which side they're going to wake up on. That's not how we should live. We need to look at the root of the problem. And how can I help to bring this change? And how can you help to bring this change? Well, the number one thing is education. In educating our children, we need to bring them up with the histories. Every history, American history, not just the histories that we might have learned in the textbooks growing up about the Boston Tea Party and this and that from the 1700s, because as important as it is to look back at the very genesis of our country, we need to see what's been going on, because I could fill up a textbook with American history that's happened just in the past 5 years. And if our kids don't know what's going on in our country now, in the present, what's the difference about what happened when the Civil War was being fought and when the Declaration of Independence was being signed? We need to focus on projects that are happening out there, things that we can easily find online that we don't always look for. There are things like the Innocence Project that get lawyers and collect money for people that are convicted of crimes that they didn't commit. Because a lot of things, there's certain things that people don't know, like, well, everyone's right is to a lawyer in trial. They also have to put up money to get that trial. And if they don't have $200, they can't get it. We need to know who we are electing to positions. We need to know who are passing our bills, and we need to fight for what we think is right. We need to write letters to our legislature. And if all else fails, we need to go out there and protest. We need to use our platforms. We need to follow artists and doctors and lawyers and people who are doing the right thing. That's what we do to fix the problem.